Hey, this is Mark Earl from freeingslaves.com. Will you retire broke? Did you know that statistics state that the odds are 19 to 1 that you will? And these stats are not something new. 15 years ago, I remember listening to an audio from Earl Nightingale. It was recorded in 1956 and it was called The Strangest Secret. In this audio, which was the first personal development audio to sell over 1 million copies, Earl Nightingale quotes statistics charting where 100 people will end up at age 65, who all started equal at age 25. Here are the figures. 1 will be rich, 4 will be financially secure, 5 will still be working, 54 will be broke, and unfortunately 36 will no longer be with us. That was in 1956. When I first heard it, I was shocked, and in a few moments I'll share what impact it had on me over the last 15 years. Recently I re-listened to that audio, so I was curious to see if there was any new up-to-date statistics. I found that a study was carried out on the 13th of July 2014. This blew my mind. You'll see that in 60 years, 3 generations, the only thing that's changed is medical advancements. Fewer people are dying and the average lifespan has increased. More people are broke at age 65 and they're going to have no money for longer. So this got me asking the question, what will happen in the next 3 generations? We've got access to more information now than in 1956. So something is obviously wrong. The majority of hard-working people are on the wrong plan. So this brings me back to the strangest secret. If you listen to the full audio, you'll learn that the strangest secret is in fact what we think about, we will become. And 15 years ago, I started thinking about the 5%. I started asking myself how. How did the 5% do it? What did they do to become financially free? And how could I become financially free at age 65? I started searching and reading books on rich people, and I came across the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. The subtitle of the book read, "What the rich teach their kids that the poor and middle class don't." It was in this book that I learned that it was down to 2 main reasons: mindset and behaviour. You can sum it up like this: how they think and how they behave, or the actions that they take. So let me show you the 3 different types of behaviour that are taught in the book, and it all starts from their thoughts about money. Our thoughts leads to our actions. So this is how a poor person thinks and acts with money. They have income that comes in. Now when this income comes in, basically what they do is they just buy stuff. With this stuff, the money just goes out straight of the expense column. They don't buy anything of particular value, they don't have anything that's going to increase in value. Basically every penny they make goes out at the end of the week. You might know these people who just live paycheck to paycheck, week to week or month to month. Now these aren't necessarily bad people, they just don't know how money works. Next we've got the middle class mindset. Now these people are generally on a higher income. Now these people do actually value money and want nice things, and they're on a higher income, so they can generally, they want a nice house, they like a nice car, they can sometimes buy boats, and they go on nice vacations. Now these things are generally financed, so as their income comes in, it goes down into the liabilities column, and it goes out of the expense column in credit or finance. So these people generally look rich because they've got the nice big house, they usually have a nice car. If they've got either a second home, which is like a vacation home, or they've got boats and they go on nice vacations. Now this is all generally done either straight through expenses or through credit and finance. So that's how the middle class mindset works. Now these people generally, they trade their time for money as well, but at a higher level. Income comes in, they value nice stuff, they buy liabilities. These people look rich, but if their income stopped, they'd be in hot water fast. Now we move on to the rich mindset. These people focus on the creation of or acquisition of assets. So their income comes in. Now immediately these people concentrate on growing cash flow. So what they do is they purchase assets. The assets work hard and create more income. With the extra income that comes in, they continue to buy more assets. The assets create more income, and this is where you can see where the saying the rich get richer and the poor get poorer comes from. Now these people do buy liabilities like houses, like cars, etc. But what they do is they use the cash flow from the assets that they're purchasing, and the assets creates more and more income. And then as they get their liabilities and the expenses goes out, it's the assets and the income that actually pays for these. Their passive income streams and cash flow buys their liabilities. So let's look at some examples of the rich mindset behaviour. Richard Branson of the Virgin Group now owns 400 companies. He started back in 1968 with a magazine called Student, and what he did, he had advertising in there where people paid for the advertising to market products and services for students. He then went into mail order with a record company, Mail Order Records, in 1970, and he opened his first shop in Oxford Street, London in 1971. Bill Gates and Paul Allen of Microsoft. They now own 169 companies. You can see some of the prices that they purchased other companies for by acquisition, paying up to 8.5 billion for Skype. And like I say, they've now got 169 companies. It started in Harvard with a basic computer language. Next we have Larry Page and Sergey Brin of Google. Google and its companies now own 173 companies. The latest one they bought was Motorola for mobile, so they could have the Google smartphone. They didn't actually come up with the technology. What they do is they just purchase companies that already have the technology so they can rebrand it and actually call it the Google phone. You can see it all started, one of the most significant ones was when they purchased YouTube, now going back nearly 6-7 years, for 1.65 billion. And this all started as a dissertation in Stanford University. Jeff Bezos of Amazon now owns over 40 subsidiaries of Amazon. Each of these subsidiaries own between them hundreds of companies. You can see some of the companies below there that they've purchased and acquired, paying almost 1 billion for Twitch and 1.2 billion for Zappos. Now these systems are what they've actually been able to incorporate and create the likes of the Amazon Kindle, which is now their product. But again, Jeff Bezos didn't have the technology, so they acquire companies which have the technology to get them to the next level. Amazon started in a garage. Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook Facebook now owns 50 companies via acquisition, most notably WhatsApp, which they've recently purchased for 19 billion. They've also purchased Instagram for 1 billion and Oculus Virtual Reality for 2 billion. Facebook, or Mark Zuckerberg, actually started in a Harvard dormitory as a way of just communicating within the Harvard campus. So how can we start? Well, we start small. We start to build assets. For as little as $12 we can get started. We automate the system, and then we start another and we build another asset. We start to behave like a rich person. And you can get started today completely free with my step-by-step training at $12business.com. Click on the link below in this video and you can get started today seeing exactly how you can get started and creating your first asset for as little as $12. Click on the link below and I'll see you at $12business.com.